I think for the young guys out there, one thing that's super important to get over, like the fact like, oh, I'm young, I don't know if I could sign this client, could serve this client, is like, if you stack enough proof, it just becomes completely irrelevant. So like, how soon did you become conscious of that? Because I feel like something that some of our clients do, like they'll get great results, they just suck at actually like gathering the case study. So when did you start thinking about that and really like stacking these wins?
Yeah, so that's my number one thing for developing a successful business. Like I can build any business from scratch, and knowing that all I need to do is build a great social media page and then build unlimited testimonials, and then you have a successful business right there. So when I had the fitness business, that's where I developed that. Like I had the most testimonials, people saying I lost 35 pounds or I gained 15 pounds, in muscle. So I literally built that business organically, just straight off testimonials. Like that's how I got people to trust me at such a young age, that I could actually improve their physique and change their health and all that stuff. So when I launched the agency, I knew that was our number one thing. Provide the best service, build a genuine relationship with clients, and they'll send you testimonials for free. All you have to do is ask. So I knew that when I was going to build the agency, and if I wanted to be, one of the most trusted agencies out there, the number one thing I was going to need was unlimited case studies. On the website, we don't even include all the case study and testimonies that we have, because it makes the website too slow. Even now, it's already slowing it down, or I got to delete stuff. But we just put some of them. And another thing I want to mention, since you did, mention that, is a lot of agency owners, a lot of coaches that I see in the space, the number one thing that they preach is don't start your agency, don't start your business until you choose a niche. Right. And one thing that you'll see from what he said, which is I have like every single niche, every category you can think of, because I feel like you're putting a limit on yourself. You guys know when you run Facebook ads, you can put certain targeting, but Facebook's always going to make an issue where it's going to target somebody else. Yeah. Right. So if you're saying, I only coach 40-year-old moms, and then now the ad gets shown to a 30-year-old mom, or it gets shown to, a person in a different industry
that you can help,
or a dad that you can help, right? But since you're only targeting a certain audience, you're capping your income. And so that's why I said, I can help any industry. There's not one industry in the world.
The worst is when people want to invent a niche, like, oh, I work with dentist offices. It's like, why? They're like, oh, I read it online.
That's the best thing. It's like they're like closing their eyes and like picking out of a hat. like for what reason? You always ask, why are you picking that niche? And they never know why. No. Just because I'm niching down. It's like, why though?
We've done that.
Yeah, well, not really. When we started our agency, it was kind of the same thing. It was a spray and pray approach.
Yeah. And we went to email marketing.
When we found a specific niche that worked, that's what we doubled down on.
Yeah.
But we weren't just like, we didn't even know what email marketing was when we started, and that's the niche we ended up doubling
But I still think
on.
But even still, like we were turning away people that we could help because they weren't in our niche.
Yeah, we went back.
Yeah. We started wide, we went narrow, then we went wide again. It was like, that's pretty common.
Who said the hourglass?
Adam. Like a couple episodes ago. But I think that's kind of helpful. Like you start to work with a bunch of people and you figure out like, who can I serve best?
Yeah.
And then you find something, you're like, okay, let's get the most out of this opportunity. Then you open it back up again. I feel like that's a pretty natural transition.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like businesses just change for the sake of changing sometimes. Like everybody does it, right?
Yeah, that's also another thing that has gotten me to where I am today. When I started the agency, I knew I wasn't going to change the name for a long time, change the offer, like change like what we're doing. That's the biggest thing. I think that when you can say, I've successfully ran this agency for 5 years, and it's not like I've changed businesses or changed models or changed everything, that also in its own holds a lot of social proof, holds a lot of trust. Yep. People can see testimonials from so far back, right? Or they've been watching you and seen that you've been pushing the same company for so long. Right?
Yep.
He's still there. Yeah. That's so huge because we've been doing business for probably 5 years, but there's not a single company that we've had for 5 years. Mm-hmm. It's always every 2-3 years it changes. And so exactly, you mentioned even earlier, like just the consistency, show up every single day and put in the work, like that is the biggest part of it all, right? And just so few people are willing to do it. One thing I want to go back to is the offer, right? You've mentioned the offer a couple of times. So like, how long did it take you to find like the winning offer that could take you to where you're at today?
So it didn't take long because it was, what I was doing with the other businesses, right? Yeah. So what I said, like with the fitness business. So when I started that business, a lot of times when people go and, try to build a social media business, right? They'll start it off and they'll have, 100 followers, and the content they'll be posting of fitness will be them at the gym with a, selfie video on. And then it's just them doing, some curls, and it's not like real high quality content. And so what I went and did was I made sure everything that was posted on the page was extremely high quality. So like the first thing I did when I launched the business was I flew out to LA, flew out a photographer, flew out a model, and I created like insane content like of different workouts, and everything looked super professional. So people started to tie us with like professional fitness brand companies, not just like a high schooler, launching a little company on his own and stuff. And so that's kind of how I built the offer, because I knew like exactly what I did with that business, exactly what I did with the restaurant is what I was going to do. So essentially some of those things are like when you start off the Instagram, you want to post it on, different theme pages and different influencers and, ads and stuff, right? To build that following and build that foundation. Then you want to make sure every piece of content that you put out looks extremely high quality. So it's well graphic design, everything looks great. And so once you have that, and then you know how to do client acquisition, which at that point we were just doing, affiliates and outreach is how we were building that up.
Yep.
And then the next thing is, you can go for, press and a nice website and all that stuff. So once I realized like all those key components that you need to build a successful business, I realized that was the offer. And so even before I launched the agency, like, or kind of like during, right, I already had the offer like in my mind exactly where we were going to go for, and we stuck to that for like the last 5 years. And we have branched out to like where we offer 25 plus services on the site, additional services that we do have, but we always stick to that main offer, and then all those services kind of come in as upsells.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this short clip, check out the full interview here, and if you want to see more clips from this episode, check it out right here.